Hi students, how are you? I think you are all safe and fine and enjoying the video classes very well. At the same time, I think you know that we are discussing the topic of union government. In our last class, as I told you about the introduction to union government and about the president also we have discussed. In that we discussed about the salary, terms, what are the required prior qualifications to contest as a president in our country. And generally this president, our president is elected by the college named Electoral College. This Electoral College consists of the all legislative members of the state and all the parliamentary members. We may call them in our general terminology as MLAs and MPs. These will participate in the election of the president and they are going to elect our president of India. Whereas these people are elected by the people of our country. That is, we are going to elect MLAs and MPs. These members are going to elect the president of India. Because of that only we call that president's election is the indirect election. There is a proportionate voting system will be there. Accordingly, the person who will get highest proportionate of votes, he will be declared as the president of our country. Here MLA will be given some points according to the population of that state and MP will given some points according to the population of that state, and moreover by calculating these two values of the votes, the president of India is going to be elected. So in this process, in our last class we also discussed about the concept of impeachment process of president. As I told you, impeachment is nothing but removal of the president of India. That we discussed in our earlier class very clearly. Now I am directly approaching to the another concept, that is the powers of president of India. You know that the president plays an important role. He is a nominal executive. He is head of the constitution also. In our last class we discussed. Generally, these powers of president of India can be classified into two types. One is the general powers and other one is the emergency powers. General powers and emergency powers. In our today's class, we are going to discuss about the general powers of President of India. Under general powers, there are 6 types of powers are discharged or executed by the President of India. But all these powers he exercised on the advice of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers, because you know that President is a nominal executive, whereas Prime Minister and his Council of Ministers are the real executives. So that the president executes his powers on the advice of the Prime Minister and Council of Ministers. We may call them as the real executives. So, what powers he discharged? The first aspect is the executive powers. All appointment powers are come under the sphere of the executive powers. Under Article 53, the President discharge the executive powers. He may discharge directly or through his deputies. He perform these executive powers. You know that generally there are different departments are there, like Election Commission, Union Public Commission chairmen and governors, like this Supreme Court, High Court, Chief Justice and justices, like this. All highest executives are appointed by the President in the name of the President. This is one of the important aspect. The appointment orders will be issued in the name of the President. That means actual decision is taken by real executive, but the appointment orders are issued in the name of the President. These are related to the aspect of the executive powers, like Election Commission, UPSC, Language Commission, SC/ST Commission, and like that. So many types of aspects at the central state level, judiciary level, appointments are issued by the President of our country. And the next aspect is the legislative powers. You know that legislature. What is our Indian legislature? Generally, Indian legislature is nothing but calling as the Parliament of India at the central level. You know that in Parliament there are two houses are there. That is the Lok Sabha or lower house and upper house, or we may call it as the Rajya Sabha. So the President is also integral part of the legislature. That means Parliament means lower house, upper house plus President. In this way, Indian Parliament is component of three organs: lower house, upper house, or Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha plus President. In this way, President is the integral part of our Parliament. So, as of a integral part, under Article 79, President is going to execute or discharge so many legislative powers. Here, if you see that the President is going to summon the Parliament, that means call on the Parliament. He is going to take up the meeting, that is called as the summon. And next one, prorogue. Prorogue is nothing but postponement, temporary postponement. That is, after the meeting sessions are going to conclude, for the next meeting there will be a prorogue is there or postponement is there. That is generally issued in the name of the President only. That is actually decided by real executive, but the orders are issued by the president only. And the next aspect is dissolve. Dissolve means total cancellation. Total cancellation. Here prorogue is the temporary postponement, whereas dissolve is the total cancellation. At the end of 5 years, by the advice of the Prime Minister, he is going to dissolve the Lok Sabha or the lower house. That means there will be a general election and there is a chance for the formation of the new Lok Sabha. In this way, prorogue and dissolve are quite different. It is temporary postponement, it is total cancellation. Whenever the Prime Minister is not support with the required majority in the Parliament, then also the President dissolve the Lok Sabha and go for the mid-term elections. In this way, the President has an authority to summon, prorogue or dissolve the Lok Sabha. At the same time, he is going to nominate 12 members to the Rajya Sabha and 2 Anglo-Indians to the Lok Sabha. Why he is going to nominate to Rajya Sabha? The people who are there, they may not come forward to contest in the elections, but they are somehow intelligent in a different field, so that the President going to select them such people and nominate them to Rajya Sabha. Because of that, the Rajya Sabha is going to be filled up different intelligent people. For example, once Sachin Tendulkar was nominated as the Rajya Sabha member. Hema Malini was nominated as the Rajya Sabha member. In this way, from different fields, the members are chosen and they are generally nominated to the Rajya Sabha to fill it that house with distinct intelligent people. And to Anglo-Indians, those are Indians but belongs to the Anglo origin. If such community is not there in Lok Sabha, if the President felt that, then he nominates the 2 Anglo-Indians to Lok Sabha also. Not only that, whenever the Parliament is not in session, you know that generally Parliament prepares the law for our country. But whenever Parliament is not in a session, there is an urgency of law, then he will issue or promulgate ordinances under the Article 1, 2, 3. Promulgate means issues. Such orders are nothing but calling as the ordinances. When the President is going to issue such orders means whenever the Parliament is not in a session. At that time, whenever there is a need of urgency of law, at such instances, the President is going to issue the orders under Article 1, 2, 3. These are show some effect until the new session of the Parliament. These are all generally considered as the legislative powers of the President. Not only that, whenever a law become act, that may be called a bill, purely we may say a bill become act whenever that bill get the President assent, president assent. That means in generally the two houses of the parliament approve the bill and then send to the president. Whenever the president assigns or signs, then that bill become an act. So that any bill which is approved by the parliament, if it to become an act, that should be signed or assigned by the president. So that sometimes the president send the bill to the parliament for consideration of few issues. The parliament, in its own aspects, in its own limits, it is going to neither change or nor send the same bill to the president. Whenever such second time, if the bill sent to the president by the parliament, the president has to compulsory give his assignment. For second time, there is no power to the President of India to send back the bill which is sent by the Parliament of India. In this way, any bill become act only after the president sign only. Some of the state bills also generally send to the president for his approval. These are all comes under the legislative powers. And the next aspect is the financial powers. You know that financial statement, or we may call it as the budget of our country. That budget or financial statement generally initiated by the President of India. He will take steps which are required to put before the Parliament of India, which are prepared by the finance minister and other real executives. In this way, he take required aspects and required initiations to put before the Parliament of India also. Not only that, he is going to appoint the finance commission for every 5 years. This finance commission is going to review the existing relations, allocations of the funds and financial relationships between the center and state governments. So after reviewing this, it is going to prepare the report and put it before the president, and the president again put it before the Parliament of India, and what actions has initiated he is going to explain before the Parliament or legislature. Not only that, the president is also going to operate the contingency fund of India. Contingency means emergency fund. There will be, you know that there will be some emergency fund kept aside for the emergency purpose whenever financial statements or budgets are going to be prepared. So such emergency or contingency fund is operated by the president of our country. For example, floods are going to occur, natural calamities are going to occur. Such the such incidents require few relief actions. For that purpose fund is required. Such that fund is nothing but calling as the contingency fund of India. This is all about the financial powers. And next one is the judicial powers. Under judicial powers the president is going to appoint the Supreme Court Chief Judge and High Court Chief Justice and other judges of the Supreme Court and High Court. Not only that, he take the oath ceremonies of these judges also. Not only that, the president has the power to pardon the person who has been ordered by the death punishment by the Supreme Court of India. Whenever the president asks the Supreme Court and other to give pardon him, that is generally particularly belongs to the death punishment. That is the death punishment. And not only that, the president has the power to change the type of punishment on the convicted person on humanitarian grounds. In this way, president has enormous judicial powers also. And the next one, military powers. You know that president is the chief commander of the army forces. He is the chief commander of the army forces. You know that in our country BSF is there, army is there, navy is there. So these total three forces, chief commander is the president. He is going to elect the individual commander and appoint them. He is going to take care of the aspects of the country also, and he can declare the war also. He can commence the peace also. He can commence the peace also with other countries. In this way, these are all comes under the aspect of the military powers. And the next one is diplomatic powers. You know that generally our country is going to appoint the envoys or ambassadors to other country. Such appointments orders are generally issued by the President of India. At the same time, from other countries, few ambassadors are appointed to our country, so that president welcome them, take necessary actions for their residence aspect, and take the peace activities among the countries also. In this way, the diplomatic relations generally related to the aspects of our country with another countries. These are all generally considered as the general powers of President of India. One of the long answer is there, so try to listen clearly and try to write it on a paper by listening one by one, so that you have a chance to get it perfectly. In our next class, in our next video, we are going to discuss about the emergency powers. So take care. Thank you. Bye bye.